Hello there and welcome to the A Space. We are back again with another exciting episode with one of the world's best volleyballers. We have had some absolutely enthralling episodes so far, and we have another one for you this week. My name is Louis Letts, and I will be today's host. On other occasions, it will be Dave Rogers, and we will be joined by our CV volleyballing wizards, Matt Rogers or Daniel Meanley. Today, we are joined with Dan. Dan, how are you, mate? How's Luxembourg? You've got some good news for us coming out of Luxembourg, haven't you, this week?
Yeah, Luxembourg's great. They just announced that the restaurants will be opening tomorrow, so I'm ready to just sink my teeth into a nice McDonald's hamburger and fries right now.
Other fast food brands are obviously available out there as well. But
maybe we're trying to look for a McDonald's endorsement, so that's
McDonald's all the way. I'm glad, mate. It's been a tough few weeks for you in Luxembourg. You've been on strict lockdown rules, so it's I'm happy that you're going to be happy feasting away. We are rotating, obviously, these podcasts around four of the world's biggest stars to kick off the A Space. We're recording remotely due to the current situation. I'm in London, Dan's in Luxembourg, and our guest is in Latvia today. Well, there's one clue. We're going to alternate these with our unscripted and debate series, which will come out on a Friday. Right. Dan, are you ready? It's time to introduce our new guest. I'm very, very excited. This is the first one of three, and she is one of the brightest young talents that our game has seen for a long, long time. 2018 FIVB Top Rookie, 2019 FIVB Most Improved Team, 2019 European Champion, and also one of three teams to qualify for the Olympic Games last year as well. The first ever NCAA collegiate beach volleyball player to qualify for the Olympic Games. That's some stat as well. 2016 Under-22 European Champion, gold at the Under-18s as well, and a third at the Under-17s World Championships in Mexico. Welcome to the A Space, Tina Graudina. How are you doing?
Hello, how are you? You did such a good job of summing it all up.
I don't know if I did. Did I miss anything? Because I know
No, nothing. I hadn't heard it all together before, so it's interesting.
There's also 25 individual awards from the USA as well that I could have added in that I missed out. So 25 awards from different sort of.
Wow.
You're doing pretty well.
Yes, I guess so.
How's Latvia? How are you these times?
Latvia's been pretty good. As I hear, I didn't know that Luxembourg was so harsh, or restaurants have been open this whole time, as long as you do the distancing. But of course, all the gyms are closed, all the indoor facilities for training are closed. So we've been going on a more relaxed schedule for training for the past month or so.
Well, that was some other news in Luxembourg, is that the gyms are opening as well. So.
Okay. So you're going to be open before
I'm
us.
going to be training.
Go there.
I'm going to be training.
Yeah, you'll be in better shape than I will.
No,
maybe.
Definitely not.
On the bicep curls.
Yeah. Maybe a few. Work on the arms to start.
Yeah. You said your training is a little bit looser at the moment. What does this sort of entail? Are you still managing to touch the ball and still managing to get some sessions in?
Yes, we are focusing on our physical training right now because we have a lot of the little small details that we can work on, but for which we don't have the time in a regular season, like strengthening the small muscles in our shoulders and all the not so exciting stuff that our coach is like happy to give us now. And we do a lot of trainings at home, practices in my garden or by the sea, so it's been pretty enjoyable.
Lovely. And are you in Jurmala?
Yes, Jurmala, yes.
Oh, very nice. I like it there. I was there when for the under-22s a couple of years ago.
Oh, really? Wait, in the one that was 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Very cool experience. Well, today's episode is about you becoming a European champion and qualifying for the Olympic Games. So pretty much 2019, which was a great year for you. We've also got a couple of features for you. We're going to ask you to come up with a couple of things, use a little bit of creativity. This is sort of how the ACE is rolling, and we're having a great time with
so
it.
Exciting, making my day much better. not as boring as usual.
I think you're certainly making my day a lot better, and Dan's also. But with the lifting of restrictions in Luxembourg, his day was always going pretty good anyway.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a party, Louis, of course.
McDonald's being open again. Tina, sum up 2019 for us. Like, just talk to us about 2019. It was pretty good for you, right?
Yes, 2019 is a year I will definitely remember for the rest of my life. Um, it was a total roller coaster because I started the year actually by not even being together with my partner Anastasia. We were split up in January, and so the whole season in front ahead of me looked very, very bleak because I was trying to find a partner, and like it was not a nice moment in our partnership, definitely. But we resolved all our issues and worked together, and then ended up coming back together, and we started the first tournament in Ipanema, literally seeing each other for the first time in like 4 months. And yes, and that's why all the success that we had at the end of the season, like the European champs and Haiyang, it's just out of my imagination, definitely at the beginning of the year. And yes, I feel like it was like a dream come true season, but at the same time we didn't have a lot of tournaments where we would excel and like had perfect games. In fact, we didn't get even to the 5th place this season in NEF5EB, and that's why this contrast between the regular tournaments and then these specific tournaments where there's a little bit more pressure to perform better, we actually did better where the tournaments were more important than the regular ones, which is a good sign for our team that we can do that.
Wow, talking about the roller coaster, I didn't know that you guys had chosen to sort of go your separate ways at the start of the season. And
well, yeah, we definitely didn't want to advertise it or like put it out in social media, so because we didn't know, there were like a lot of negotiations with the federation, with our coach, between ourselves and everything, and that's why nothing was clear, and we didn't put out like a clear statement, okay, we've split up. But yeah, for a month or 2 months we were.
it's just some of the tough things with beach volleyball, right? Like it's definitely not unnormal or strange to split up for a bit or to have your problems and then have to resolve them to.
Yeah, because it's so funny. At the end of the day, we're playing together only because of our volleyball skills, not because of personal character compatibility. And yeah, but I'm so lucky that me and Nasha, that we're actually very good friends as well. And you know how like high pressure environments, like you sometimes get some kind of arguments and stuff like that. But yeah, we're good now.
Wow, perfect. So it was worth all of those. It was definitely worth all of those bad times to come through and have those times at the end, right?
If karma, not karma, but like, you know, the goods and bad moments, then yeah, they definitely evened out in this year, even ending more on a positive note, definitely, for sure.
I find it fascinating that you guys rock up to Brazil not having seen each other and play a World Tour event. And that's one question we've got here is like, how does that planning, especially with you being in America, like how does that disrupt your international career? Or is it sort of we've obviously got an episode coming very, very soon about your time in the States, but how does that interrupt your preparation for 2019, for example?
Yes, for me as a person, Tina Graudina, a beach volleyball player, studying at the United States, it's a very good thing. I develop my personality, my intelligence in being in the university, and also the beach volleyball skills I get to improve there are like very important. But for the team, Graudina Kravchenko, me studying in the US, it's not good. It's definitely a problem and something that we need to work around. And so far, we don't really have a plan how to do it, because the rules in the United States universities are very, very strict for student athletes, and they demand very like the energy you have to invest in these programs is very high, and there isn't a lot of time for me to like do other stuff. And that's why when I'm in the university, my Anastasia, she kind of goes in, from my perspective, in the second like plan. Yeah, that's probably not the best wording, but of course it's such a wonderful experience for me to be there. And at the end of the day, like, it's been 2 years where I've been studying there, and we've had amazing results. So maybe that is exactly the thing that works, that we are like very excited and very determined to do well when we do meet in the summer. It's been, yeah, I wouldn't say that it's been bad either.
But your summer vacation is probably a bit different from some of your classmates.
Definitely, and I'm so jealous of them. I also want to go to all these like cool camping trips and do stuff like that.
And also spring break as well. There is no spring break. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What is that? I don't know. What do you mean, spring break? I haven't heard about it.
I wouldn't know. I'm getting too old now for that. No, never. What does Anastasia do when for her off season? Who does she train with if you're spending that time in California?
Yes, she trains. She takes the fall, the autumn off, so she doesn't train as much during that time. But during winter and spring, she would go to Egypt to train with Gennady Samoilovs, who used to be your coach last season. And there's the other men's teams as well, Plavin, Stuoc. Last year there were Samoilov, Šmediņš as well. So she trains mostly with the men, and maybe that's why she's so good now, and that's why she like is so like insane on the court, because like she trains with all the guys.
Yeah, that spin serve started to get really nice.
It's really, yeah, a good thing.
European champion or first Latvian female team to qualify for the Olympics? Which one holds more weight here?
Olympics for sure, because they happen only statistically speaking, they're only once every 4 years. European championships are every year, so you have, statistically speaking, a bigger chance of winning the European championships. But the European championships were so special because 10 years ago, one of my very first partners, Ines Jurson, together with Ingo Neminus, they actually also won the European championships, and they also were held in Russia, and that's why it was so symbolic. It felt like such a generational change, and like passing on traditions like that. I felt so proud that I can keep the tradition alive and keep women's beach volleyball alive in Latvia by repeating what they did 10 years ago. And it was so nice. And they came to the airport to like greet us when we arrived, and it was it was so sweet.
So I remember that notes, actually. I remember the 10 years and the passing forward from Moscow. Sorry, Dan.
I was going to say, so obviously like Latvian beach volleyball is amazing right now, both on the men's and the women's side, but it's not, seems to be as strong on the indoor sides. Do you have any thoughts as to why that is, maybe?
Yes, I myself played a very little bit of indoor as well. Nastya did more. And Latvia is very small. We don't even have 2 million people anymore. The population is getting smaller and smaller every year, unfortunately. And at the same time, we're a very active country. And unfortunately, indoor volleyball is not the most popular sport to send your kids. To all the like tall girls, the first sport they would usually do is basketball or some other. So that's why I think that there simply isn't enough of resources of people to get like 8 good world-class level indoor volleyball players. But we're also very talented. So maybe with the right system, right coach, we could do it.
There's only so mmany tall people to go around.
Exactly,
So
and
I'm
if
sure
all of
there's-
them are in basketball, like you don't know what you don't have any tall girls anymore.
Maybe if Kristaps Porzingis decides to
Yes.
to switch to the volleyball court, maybe there'd be a
Yes,
strong.
that would be insane to see him play.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel a bit the same from England though. Like we don't have a small population and we still can't create a good volleyball team with the
Yeah,
system.
I don't know what is that like.
Because you need the
I
tall people,
definitely.
Louis.
Tina, that is for another podcast.
Because you don't have a good basketball team either.
We could, oi. Yeah, we haven't. But that is for another podcast. But it's an interesting story that I think shouldn't be ignored for too long. You became the first NCAA player to secure an Olympic berth in beach volleyball.
And it feels very nice.
That's unreal.
Yes, well, to be fair, it might not be as insane as it sounds because NCAA beach volleyball is a very young sport. It's been around only for 6 or maximum 7 years. And that's why there has been only one Olympic Games for which they could have qualified before me. But yes, I happened to be the one, but also the competition was very, very intense because Sarah Sponsel or Sarah Hughes they also graduated, or Kelly Clays. Like there's a lot of the girls. And yeah,
stand up.
but their disadvantage is that they're from the United States and only 2 teams get to go from there. So even if in fact they are higher in the world ranking than I am, I got the tickets. So yeah, so I feel very fortunate about that.
And she's doing herself a massive injustice here.
Yeah. I was going to say you didn't mention the Canadians, the McNamara twins either.
Yeah, McNamara team as well.
Yeah, Tina's doing herself a massive injustice. It's a great achievement.
Very humble.
And she goes into the history books forever with that achievement against some very good players. But the amount of players that will come through that system into women's volleyball over the next few years is going to be crazy. And you're always going to be that person, which is, I think, is going to be pretty cool.
It is, especially I would like to add that I feel so proud of my university in general in the terms of the volleyball tradition that they have. Like, for example, in the World Tour alone, we have like 4 players who have finished USC are going to. So it's me, it's April Ross, Sarah Hughes, Kelly Clays, and then from the men's side, it's Tri Bourne as well. And it's 5 players who come from one university, and I think it's insane, and it feels so nice to keep it going.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to our future episode where we talk really quite in depth about the NCAA, because for us Europeans especially, like I'm very, very aware of it. I watch it, but that day-to-day sort of environment and culture is something that really intrigues me, and something that I want to become more.
And Micah Christensen on the men's side played USC as well, right?
Yes.
So yeah.
And some other good players as well.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure there's more
educated in the indoor side.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, maybe I should be.
I think it's too late to get signed up.
Yeah.
You think reckon they'd take a 5'6" English libero on a full scholarship at 31 years old? Is that going to be?
Are there men's teams for beach volleyball?
No.
Yet? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's just I want the youth sports as well in Canada to adopt the beach volleyball, because I think it's great as an addition to the NCAA sports roster. But unfortunately, our weather is not as agreeable.
Yeah, you need the indoor halls.
Yeah.
I say this, in London since lockdown, the weather has been unbelievable 85% of the time. But when we're not in lockdown, the weather's awful. So you say we don't have the weather, but if we were to set up a beach volleyball program now, it would be great. I worked on you guys, Tina, in Hamburg. So I knew of you beforehand, very much so. But the first time I got to broadcast on you was in Hamburg. how big a competition was that for you guys? And playing so well and winning your pool must have given you some confidence and taking a ninth in those sorts of big occasions to push forward. Did it help the results later on in the year?
Yes, definitely. The points that we got from the ninth place there were so helpful because we were in the middle of the summer, we were in the Olympic qualification ranking. We were always like barely in, or like one spot behind the line, the draw. And that way it was very stressful, and the points from World Championships made us feel a little bit assured because it was a good result. But the competition itself, it was our first experience in World Championships, and it's like it was so fulfilling because I've been I've been a big fan of beach volleyball since I was very young, and I've been watching on TV all these big players playing World Championships, and then to finally be in one myself, it was just like a coming around good moment feeling type of thing. So
I haven't got this written down, so it's going off the top of my head, but you were in Pool A, wasn't you? And I think you won your pool?
Yeah, we won our pool. That was surprising, but to be fair, again, we had Slukova Hermano in our pool as well, and they had to get out of the tournament because of an injury. So again, we kind of got lucky, but we capitalized on that luck and played as well as we can and won some good teams as well. And then we got to play against Kleineman and April Ross, and it was so nice to feel how good they are.
Yeah, but also at the same time, well, you qualified for an Olympics, so you got to get used to that now. Like that's your level.
That's true. That's something I need to get used to, definitely.
Like, it's amazing. The European Championships, like, wow. I remember, so you obviously know Dane Blanton fairly well.
Yes.
And I was working with him in Hamburg, and at the European Champs, I was like messaging being like, Tina's heating up here. I was like, this is crazy, the level they're going.
Yeah.
Like, talk us through, like you mentioned it earlier, but like you're a European champion and it wasn't an easy route through. Like the women's game is so open.
Yes, it is, and there aren't clear top 3 teams that like definitely will always be on the podium, and in these European Championships, since they are equivalent to 3 stars, I think some of the teams like Laura Ludwig, they didn't even participate, so that was a good. Yeah, I don't think they were in the tournament, so that was.
Louis gonna fact check you.
Yeah. Also, Hermano Slukov also weren't in the tournament, or the previous World European champions Kaiser Meppeling also weren't there. But that didn't mean that the games were less easy or the competition less fierce. And we had a lot of 3-setters. Out of the 7 games, we had 5 of them. And of course, we were so close to losing in so many moments, and somehow like staging all those comebacks and just it was a weird feeling of calmness that I had during the whole tournament that I haven't had before, and I guess that's the thing that we finally caught on that we were missing beforehand, and it just appeared in the right moment for us to win the whole tournament.
This sort of thing is what really intrigues me about sport. This is why I love coaching and love broadcasting and everything. Like, what is that level of calmness? Where does it come from? And if you could explain how it helps you to anyone listening, that would be awesome.
Yes. I am very intrigued myself as well. And I really hope that this is something that will come with it, with experience and with age. Because I know how I feel in 90% of the tournaments usually, and then in the other 10% where I have the biggest success, though I can distinctly remember that that's a different feeling that I have when I playing them, and it's something like a confidence mixed with calmness, mixed with like just intuitive knowledge of what to do in those moments. And for European Championships and Haiyang qualification games, in the very last game especially, I had those were the same type of feelings that I had, and I can't put my finger myself on what exactly it was, but as I said, I hope that I will find out what is the exact ingredients that I need to have for that, and that I will recognize it earlier for the future and use it more.
I'm intrigued by sports psychology and always have been, like studying it and stuff like that. But if you could put that into a bottle and keep it, it's worth its weight in gold, right? Like it's that one thing that's like, where is it? I'm trying to get to that
that's yeah, if you find it, that's a fortune. You'll use it for the rest of my life, and that's nice that I have felt it, and I will try to find the answer to this riddle in my next seasons to come.
But it's tough. It's tough though, right? Because everyone's different. Everyone approaches the game differently. Everyone has different moods that they're in at different times. So I think it's so tough to like figure out the one piece of advice or the one skill that you can teach people.
Exactly. I really enjoy watching to the type of mentalities that different players have on the court. For example, the Norwegians, they are always like stone cold. They try to be, at least. Then there's the Brazilians, who that if they are stone cold, that they're playing like shit. It's not going to happen. They need to have the fire there. And I'm still not sure which type of player I am, because looking on the TV at myself, I seem pretty calm, but I remember how I feel at those moments. I feel like I'm screaming, I'm like so energetic, but then it doesn't look like that on the TV. So I don't know. Another thing that I need to keep working on.
Because Laura was talking about how like she's got used to being more methodical in the way that she oversees everything at times.
I listened to some of the things that she has to say, and I thought I have to try some things as well for myself.
What do you think? What kind of player do you think Dan is, and what kind of player do you think I am? Like, do you reckon one of us is a hothead and the other one's a bit cooler, or?
Yeah, I think Dan definitely, like, he has like this fire coming out, like very emotional, like arguing with the referee, hitting the net, definitely. I see.
Well, I'm like Tina. I always remember myself being really energetic in a game, and then obviously all of my games aren't broadcast like yours are, but if I do watch myself playing later, I'm like, oh, I'm actually pretty relaxed.
Yeah, I look pretty calm. That's how I feel.
The same thing with me. Louis, what about you?
I was a hothead. I was a complete hothead. I stopped playing at 22, but I was playing like 5 different sports I wanted to coach, and I've learned so much about how I should have been as a player when I was through coaching. But yeah, it's interesting. It's something that really intrigues me. How did you sort of come through? You talked about those close games, and Greece, Germany, Spain, experienced teams. Like, can you explain how the momentum started to shift with you guys? Like, what was the mood in the camp throughout those games, or or maybe a better question is, from where you started the season, at that point, how did it change in the European Champs?
Yes, I believe that sport is like when you are playing, you have a lot of ups and downs, and the more you can make the ups and downs smaller, like more neutral, the better of a player you are. And I believe that it also happens in bigger periods of time, like in seasons. And for example, last season we lost almost every single one of our third sets, and it was very painful. And the memory and the experience of all the games that we had last year, I think, finally summed up to the critical mass, where this year we were able to recognize the moments where we had to push more or keep our calm better. And this experience just helped us to finally win those third setters by those 2 points. And it's like this small detail, but it's finally accumulated from all of our previous experiences.
Is that why you guys almost split up, because you couldn't win a third set?
No, not that. No.
Well, it
We can
sucks
talk
too,
about it
probably.
later. Yeah, but it sucks. It's horrible. You like go off the court and you're like, why the hell was I even like playing? Why did I even win the one set if I can't win the other?
I was going to say it sucks at the time, but then, you know, in hindsight, you're probably like, okay, well, I realize now that I needed that experience in order to be where I am today. So
Yeah, and I had people saying that to me. They were like, "You don't worry, like it's all gonna come back to you at some point, or like later, or sooner or later." And I was like, "No, like I want to win now. I don't care about the future. I want to win now." But yeah.
It's all experience, right? It's all and every team has to go through those stages to get.
Oh, the painful losses. Oh, yeah, definitely. Everybody has like those crazy stories.
Yeah, but not all of us get to qualify for the Olympics after.
But I say to some of the people I still sort of work with a little bit, like their shorts have to go in the wash so many times. Like you have to just keep putting your training kit and then match kit in the wash so many times, and then at the end of it, you learn those lessons. So I think you're not the only one who had a season of losing third sets, and it looks like you've come out the other side absolutely fine. How did it feel to beat Poland? Those moments. I remember working on the European champs. Yeah, sum that moment up for us.
Yes, so we played against Wojciech Kociolek in our group pool play as well, and we won them there in 2 sets. And to meet them in the final, it was kind of surprising because when you beat a team beforehand in the same tournament, you kind of disregard that team. You're like, okay, that game is done, like it's over, I have to focus on the next game. And then suddenly there you see the same girls that you already played against, and you know that they have made their analysis of their mistakes, and that they will change something in their game. For us as a winners, you don't usually change anything if you win. So we went in with kind of the same type of game tactic that we had in the pool play, and it was a much tougher game, definitely. But at the same time, we knew that it's a team on our level, and that a team that we should be able to beat. Of course, it's sport, you never know, but it's something that we are able to do. And that's why when we finally did win, it's our celebration wasn't as like explosive or like as energetic as in Haiyang, because we did something that we knew that we could do, and it was like, okay, good job, yes, we did what we set out to do. But then in Haiyang, it was so insane because I don't think I myself actually believed that I can win at that moment. So that's why the celebration was also much more emotional.
I've actually put in the notes here that I remember interviewing you in Haiyang, and it was very emotional. That's coming our way in a minute. Yeah, it was awesome. It was one of the highlights of the year.
Oh yeah, crying on TV, that's a milestone, definitely.
I've probably done it at some point as well. You then, am I right in thinking that you guys have then flown from Moscow home to celebrate? And then did you have to fly back for the 4-star?
Yes. And
celebrated. And for our listeners, the European Championship finished on the Sunday, and then I think you had to be back on the Tuesday.
No, the tournament starts on Thursday, so we flew Wednesday evening, which is a little bit later than we would usually fly to a tournament, but because of the European Champs. And yeah, we did all the interviews, all the appearances we had to do during those 3 days, and it was quite a lot, but I'm very happy that we did them at that time, not after the 4 stars, because then we already started preparing for Rome, for Haiyang, and it would have like messed with our heads a little bit if we still had to do all those interviews that close for the next tournaments.
How do you mean mess with your head? Just for your routines and your preparations?
Yes, it's just the routine, the fact that you don't really focus on anything else besides volleyball, but once you do interviews, then you think about like coherent speaking. You think about like, what will you say? And our coach Samoilovs, he actually he's like a very opinionated person, and he was like, he has this saying that if you do all the interviews, then you're not, and you just suddenly start living only on the TV, then you're not going to do anything in volleyball anymore. And he says that, like, yes, it's like either you choose volleyball, or you either don't play volleyball and just do interviews. So yeah.
But do you find yourself getting more comfortable with the media side of things as you progress through your career?
Yes, definitely. I'm not as nervous before or during the interviews, but while I speak, like for example, now I feel very like perfect.
Yeah.
Like you're making me feel very comfortable, but I know that when I will see this episode on the internet and I will probably click on it to see how I sound, then that's when I still get nervous seeing me myself.
Well, everyone hates the sound of their own voice anyway, so
yeah.
Honestly, like it's something that never goes away. Don't worry about it.
Okay, good to hear. Thanks.
Like it's tough. Like you become more normal with it, but that's still like I find it tough. So it's yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's always a work in progress, I think.
Yeah, it looks like you're doing a good job. So.
And Louis is a commentator, so he really should get comfortable with it.
Oh, like I'm still watching comments and still like listening back and wondering do you know what I mean? Like it's something that never goes away.
But are you actually still aware of your voice when you listen to it? Are you still like, does it still feel weird for you?
Yeah, it still feels weird. But it's always a work in progress. So like I'm still got a long way to improve, I feel. And there's like, even hopefully when I'm 60 and if I'm still doing this job, I still feel like I would have a lot to improve on. So I'm just trying to become more knowledgeable and at certain times change my tone or try and change my voice throughout. But it's always a work in progress, little steps.
Okay, because my parents very enjoyed your commentating very, very much.
Oh,
so compliments from them.
Oh, I love them lots, and I can't wait to meet them and give them a big hug when we don't have to social distance for their comments.
Tina, Lou is very happy because I think this is the first compliment you've gotten from a guest so far. So.
Yeah, for sure. From anyone about anything, actually. Yeah, very happy about that. Let's move back to you because that's completely more important. Can we go straight to Hyung? Can we talk about Hyung for 5 minutes? Wow. Yeah, that was amazing, right? You go there, you qualify for the Olympic Games, and let's go to that final game. You're playing the Czech girls. You're 12-7 down.
Yes, and then my partner decides to be a total badass on the court and just rips 3 aces in a row, just like nothing. Yeah.
At 12-7, do you think like it's game over at that stage? Are you like, we're gonna have to throw this one in the bin? I
don't have the words visualized in my head, like, oh, the game is over, but it's definitely a feeling that you just get, because I'm not stupid. I can read the score. I know I've played before, and usually you don't win in this type of
It goes up to the same number every time, right?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't change. Like the godmother fairy will not come and save us. But we never give up, no matter what's the score. We always think it's only 1 point at a time, and that's why we just keep doing what we do. But of course, I did have the feeling that okay, it's 1 point at a time, but for how long? For 3 more points until they get 15.
Yeah, there was like you sided out, and then there was a change of ends, right? And you actually moved to a fairly good end. You went into the breeze.
Yes.
Meant that Anastasia could rip the serve a little bit more, but you actually had 4 aces at the end of that game. I watched it back, 4 or 5 aces.
Yeah, I had the last 2 aces, which is weird.
The last one literally just clipped the back end of the baseline. It was that's the thing. It's about centimeters. You can have 1 centimeter out or 1 centimeter in, and it
doesn't even depend on you. It's just the luck of the day that you have, because you can't control the 1 centimeter on the other side of the court, which is 16 meters away. So that's the part of the luck that comes in these games.
I think beach volleyball is one of the few sports you can say there is a luck element involved a lot of the time.
Yes.
Well, like serving in the net is one thing, but serving at the back is another thing.
Yeah, like, that's true.
More acceptable to fire one out the back than it is in the back.
Yeah.
So 3 aces in a row from your partner, and then you're still 13-11 down.
Yes.
There's an amazing challenge on a net touch.
Oh my gosh! Okay, I definitely want to speak about this.
No. I'm going to bring it up because it was absolutely mad.
It was, when I thought about it, I was insane. Like what I was thinking, so there's this rally, and I just I hear with my ears that she, like the touch of the net, you know how the net has a distinctive sound, but I didn't see it. I only heard it a little bit. And I looked at the referees and they don't say anything. So it was like, net, like she touched the net. And then I realized that they're not going to stop the game because I'm screaming. So I was like, challenge. And at that moment, the ball flew over to our side, and we actually had the ball. We could have just I could have set it and hit the ball, and it's a point for us, no challenge needed. But I was so convinced that she touched it, so I was like, challenge. And then the referee stopped the play in the air, and I requested the challenge, and we had to wait for 2 minutes. I don't know, on the court it felt like forever, and only 10 seconds in I realized it's 13-11. If I was wrong, if I heard, I don't know, some fan hit the something, if the sound was wrong, then it would be 14-11 and we go to the bad side. But thankfully, the challenge was right, and we got 13-12, which is a huge difference in the third set, and kept playing. But while we were waiting, I definitely realized how risky it was for me to call this challenge.
I watched that last set back. I'm broadcasting it. I'm like, there's a challenge for a net touch, and it's being turned that is a net touch, or however you want to broadcast it. And then I thought about it, and I was like, that is a gutsy move at 13. You're cool, the most minimal net touch when she's on the way down, turning away from the net. I think it was
And my partner, she was I when I realized what I did, I was like, oh my gosh, Nastia, I hope I'm right. And she didn't even want to hear it. She was like, okay, I don't care, let's just focus on the next point, either it's correct or not. And that made me very calm as well, because I realized, okay, we're in this together. So
well, hearing a block touch is one thing, because that can be pretty loud sometimes, but you must have pretty good hearing if you're hearing someone's fingernail scrape the net.
It was minuscule. It's awesome, and those little things add to this story.
Thank God that they actually even noticed it in the challenge. But it just shows the importance of challenges, because I feel like you're going to probably mention the next challenge that the Czech girls also requested about my block. And it's also such a minuscule thing that the referees called wrong. And on my part, my challenge, it also was a missed call for them. So those are 2 points that in the last points of the third set are and it's so important so I'm very happy that the challenge was even available.
I agree, but also the referees are under pressure. The game is moving so quick. Everything is like blink of an eye, and it came through very, very well for you. So then block Graudina 13-all. You go back to serve. How does the game? You missed that one, but it's okay. You make up for it later. Okay. How does it start to change? You you've obviously like gone from being the underdogs. You've said like that little thing in you when you're 12-7 down. How has that little thing in you now changed?
Um, it's you. It's hard to say because you're just in the moment. You love beach volleyball at the end of the day, at the end of that moment, and that's all you focus on: how to like touch the ball, how where to jump. So you don't really focus on the feelings of the general feelings that much. But
Nice.
yes.
And then you make you hit a couple of grade 2 balls at that time,
Yeah.
and a couple of aces. Must have been ridiculously like unbelievable feelings at that time.
Yes, it felt like I really like to read a lot of books, and I've read a lot of these like hero stories where at the end of in the final like scene they like put together all the things that they've learned in their lifetime, and they succeed. And I kind of felt a little bit like that in the game as well, because when I hit the 2 balls, I think I made a decision to do that because I've had also a lot of lost games where I decide not to hit the 2 second ball over, and we lose the point because it's a bad set because I tried to set it from under the net. And yeah, I decided to just go with it when I hit over on 2, and it worked very well. And yeah, it was just like a perfect ending for us, perfect plays at the end of the 3rd set. Not the whole game, it wasn't perfect at all. The wind was so insane. At some points I couldn't like even hit the ball over, so I just like bumped it. But yeah.
It was crazy conditions in Hyam. I remember the first day in Hyam, it was I arrived at like 10 o'clock at night Chinese time, and the first broadcast was like 8 a.m. in the morning. And I just remember that whole weekend being one big days for me, like massively, like just recovering. That interview at the end was so emotional. Like it was awesome. It was a really, like, watching it back. Like no, it was great TV there. Very good TV.
Yeah, I had to pull it together to even say something. And
No, you
yeah.
not at all. Final question. I feel to be, I know there's other teams that on points are pretty much certain to be at the Olympic Games, but how does it feel to be like one of only 3 teams to know for certain that you'll be at those games? And
yeah, it's incredible, especially knowing the situation that we're in right now. I think that even the teams that have good points, they still, the uncertainty of everything of the now we know the qualification system will stay the same, but we didn't know that before, and it just helps my peace of mind and my and to sleep good during the night that I know that I've already qualified. It's definitely has a physical impact as well.
Are you okay with the fact you have to wait? Was that news really disappointing as it's the first Olympic Games?
Yeah, the news were very disappointing. I was very heartbroken. And especially that you have all these expectations in your head, and because Martin Pjavic, he's been, or Samuel, no, the guy players, they have been to many Olympic Games, so they're like, okay, it's fine, it's postponed, we'll go there next year. They know the experience, what it's like to be there. But I was like so hyped up and so ready to go to experience all this for the first time, and now I have to wait another year, which seems so long for me, because I feel like I have to do so many other things before that to even get to the Tokyo Games.
You've sorry, Dan.
I was going to say, this is going to be like a special Olympics too, like a big Olympics, right? Because it was the only Olympics really that we've had in the last 20 years that's been changed around like this.
And it's so nice that I will hopefully be a part of it, and hopefully it happens. And if it happens, it's definitely going to be insane. Biggest party of the decade. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure. How we're going to obviously talk about the NCAA later, but you put your studies on hold for a year, didn't you, to try and qualify but prepare for the Olympics? Is that something that's going to be deferred for another year, or do you have to go back to school?
I don't have to go back to the school, but 2 gap years in a row, it's a little bit too much for me just to not study for that long. And also because the longer I stay a student in USC, the longer I can't receive prize money. And of course, money is money, but it's not that important, but it's also very important, of course. And I would rather just get my studies done so that I can finally officially count as a professional beach volleyball player, because right now that's not the status that I have. So yes.
Interesting. I think that opens up a can of worms for a future episode.
Oh, Louis, if you want to have an NCAA athlete debate, that's a big topic in North America right now.
Yeah, that is a huge debate, and something that we look forward to hearing more opinions on as we go forward. Right, features, Dan, for episode number 1.
All right, man. Tina, so we have a feature called Rips and Tips. Obviously, you've already given a lot of advice, I think, throughout the episode on, how to come back in tough moments and how you developed that skill over your volleyball journey so far. But do you just want to sum it up for the listeners? What's the best way to come back in those tough situations?
Yes, of course, it all comes with experience, and the more painful losses you have, the bigger the chance in the future you'll stop having them. But some tips I would say is that what I say to myself always is, even if you're like 5 or 6 points down, all you need is 1 good serve, 1 good block, and 1 opponent error. Because those are 3 points, and then the dynamic, once you get closer, the dynamic changes so much. The other team might start to get nervous, they might make another mistake, you might get something up in defense, and actually that's not that much that you need to do. You just need to focus on 1 good serve, get 1 block, and then like you need the luck components. And of course, coaches always say you can't wait for the other team to make a mistake. You have to take it for yourself. But when you're that much down and you don't have that much room to make good plays, that's where the luck comes in, and you kind of need to have it to make a good comeback. But yeah, that's about it.
Good combination of skill and luck. I like that. It's honest, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and for our last feature for this first episode, I'm going to play a clue from our mystery man. So I'm just going to go over all the clues we know already, just to repeat for you and also for our listeners. So here are what we know so far about this mystery man. He plays volleyball.
Okay.
Indoor volleyball.
That's a
indoor
good clue.
volleyball. he has won the Champions League before. His shoe size is 14. He's right-handed. He has won a European Championships. He's best known for attacking or spiking. He's played for 2 clubs over his career, and he was born in the year 1988. And I'm going to play our next clue right now for all of us.
Have you ever won the World Championships?
No.
Did you hear that?
Yes, he said no.
So he's never won the World Championships, in case anyone didn't hear that on the episode. So Tina, any guesses here?
Very interesting. I have not a clue.
No worries. We don't have to dwell on it. Louis and I think it took us a while to figure it out. So,
but you know who that is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is he? Does he speak more than? No.
We don't know any more information.
Oh, okay.
We can't give any more information away.
Yeah. This is it. We can't play 20 questions here, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's quite a tough one. But
it was a tough one. Yeah.
The one that gave it away for me was that he's only played for 2 clubs, and that for somebody of that level to have achieved so much and only play for 2 clubs, it narrowed it down for me completely to 1 person. There you have it. That is the end of episode 1. with Tina Graudina. Tina, thank you so much. It's been amazing to have you. And if every episode is as interesting as that one, then we are in for an absolute treat. So I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Thank you. Had the pleasure of talking with you guys.
Pleasure's been all ours. Dan the man, the statistics man, thank you very much for joining us from Luxembourg.
Yeah, thanks Louis, and thanks Tina as well for joining us. This was great.
Dude, enjoy that McDonald's whenever it comes.
I will. Don't worry.
In the near future. And to our listeners, make sure that you subscribe, tell your friends. You can suggest guests for us, and you can even send us some questions to ask the world's best volleyballers. Use the hashtag #LetVolleyballTalk. You can find us wherever you find any other podcast. From myself, Louis Let, the CEV, and the Ace Space, that's all we've got time for this week, and we will see you again very, very soon. From us, goodbye.